Yeah. Oh, LTG was a separate. He was the other conversation. He had nothing to do with the coaching stuff. LTG is just an anomaly of a person. I came across somebody speaking on one of his videos the other day, and what was it? It was something about him speaking to who was it? The mother of his kids and of his kid, and he was telling her how he doesn't want anything to do with the daughter because women are. Oh, what a bum. I guess I'll stay here. Yeah. And he doesn't want anything to do with the kid and da 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 da, and how women are only meant to get, how I don't want to say it because, pretty extreme language, even for my sake. But yeah, man, even by my standards, sorry. And it's really interesting to see Low Tier God develop on the internet because I've been watching him for a while, on and off. I'm not gonna say I'm like a big fan or anything like that, but I've definitely been entertained by a couple videos over the years, and just his character development overall is it's pretty sad, honestly. And I don't want to say like it's sad because of what could have been. You know what I mean? He's entertaining. You can't take that away from him. He is an entertaining guy. He's funny. But it sucks that he went down that path with his entertainment, you know? I'm sure he could have funneled that into something a bit more positive, but this is where the conversation kind of devolves, right? Where it's okay. I'm not. I don't really want people to join me here right now. I just want to talk because if I start playing, I'm not going to be able to keep focus. Yeah, exactly. He's funny. You can't take away the funniness. I always have the saying where greatness is undeniable, and in his case, like the greatness that we'd be speaking about is that he's funny. You can't deny that he's funny, whether you think he's a terrible person or not. And it's like if you've listened to him and watched him long enough, you're not necessarily surprised that this is the outcome that he's like this is the person that he's turned in to be. If you hear about like how he speaks about his family, how he speaks about the relationships that he's gotten throughout the years, like it's all on brand. Uh it's not about that. It's you talk about the development to understand how we got here in the first place. Because I'm creating the parallel, right? That's the discussion here. You can see how like oh, there's so many instances where like he gets ostracized or like pushed into a corner and he lashes out so harshly that it forces people to push him farther and farther down into whatever well that he's in, and despite everything he still managed to create an audience, which is like that's the I don't want to say issue because like but that's the thing here. He is always going to have an audience, and people like that will always have an audience. The ostracized will always have somewhere to go to. He tried to mend with so many different social groups, and you've seen what happened in some of these scenarios. There was an instance where he was dealing with all the guys from AMP, all the Kais and all that. He was dealing with Gideon for a little bit, and he was never able to get accepted into their inner circle. And it sucks, you know what I mean? It sucks to be ostracized like that. And depending on how you take it, determines what kind of person you become. Some people, he's racist, ableist, a groomer, etiquette. Yeah, I agree. He's a lot of those things that you claim, but you know, I don't think it had to be like that. But if you understand people and you know human beings, I don't know. I have a friend that I feel like I saw like the light path and dark path happen for one of my old friends, and it kind of reminds me of this guy where I feel like if said person had a couple more good people in their immediate circle, then maybe they would have turned out a little bit differently because not everybody reacts to we'll use the word trauma for the sake of the conversation here. Not everybody reacts to that stuff the same way, right? And in certain cases, people go so far the opposite way that you end up with cases like this. Like, look at him now. Now he's going down this whole like he's taken this anti-black thing, this whole ROG thing, ROG this, ROG that, and he is like multiplied it tenfold since the last time I watched him. I've been since the last time I was keeping up with him. He was never this anti-black with like his rhetoric, but now it's like all the time, even in conversations that have nothing to do with nothing. Conversations that have conversations will have nothing to do with black people, and he will find a way to insert how black people have like, you know what I mean? Just find a way to disparage black people in the conversation. And shit like that comes from him not being accepted and embraced within his community. You hear all these stories all the time from him, how back in school he used to get bullied and da 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 da. Like, I know so many niggas like that. So many people who get bullied by black kids, get made fun of when they're young, and they end up having some type of disdain for the culture, some type of you know what I mean? And it manifests itself in so many different ways. Not saying any of it is right. Not trying to you know, minimize anything that's been done or said. I'm just breaking it down, having a conversation, because this is not a piece that people speak about, you know? I'm not going to demonize the guy just for the sake of demonizing him. I don't agree with whatever the stuff he does, and I don't agree with whatever. Yeah, exactly. He's changed. He's changed. Ever since, like, the internet has changed him, man. He's grown up on the internet, too. He's, you know, it'll affect you mentally. He talks about being mentally tough and all that, and I'm sure he is to a certain extent, but you're not a perfect human being. There are chips in the armor, and when you make yourself so available on the internet and you put so much of yourself out there, and people do a lot of digging too. I'll talk about the trolls in a second. There's a lot of people, like, there's so much of you out there that people are smart enough and experienced enough to make their own deductions about your character based on all the stuff they've seen about you. Like, I'm pretty comfortable saying a lot of the stuff that I'm saying here, right here. I, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but like, I would be surprised if I was totally wrong on all of this. No, he's not, but he does a good job masking it. And he had, like, that's what I'm saying. When you get pushed away and when you get knocked down so many times, when people shit on you almost every single time for seemingly no reason in his head, you have to develop some type of mental toughness. You have to. Some type. Of course, yeah, he's easily frustrated, but you have to develop some type of mental toughness to do and to survive how he survived and survive the things that he survived. He hasn't had an easy life if all the things he says is true. I'm sure there's some embellishment, but I don't know, man. I would not like to have his upbringing. I'm not gonna go divulge, you know, whatever so and so this guy has said about his life, but he said life has been tough, you know, and I understand how somebody could end up like that. Again, I don't condone nothing, but I get it. I understand. That's the word here. There's that too. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. He's a very complex person. But then again, like, despite how like crappy people say he is, there's certain things that people pull him up on that I don't think it's anybody's business to bring up. Like the whole kid situation, him not wanting to be involved and not wanting to allegedly pay for whatever, or whatever that situation is, if that's true, because I don't know anything, or I don't want to be talking about things and come to find out none of it is true. I definitely am of the opinion that, like, he said he didn't want the kid. If you have a kid with somebody who say they don't want a kid, don't be surprised if they're not there for the kid. You know what I mean? That's like super logical. And don't hit me with the, oh, you had unprotected whatever, you should expect to have a kid. Just because two people have unprotected whatever doesn't mean they should bear the responsibility of raising a child. Raising a child takes a lot more than just casual unprotected relations. Like, it's so much more of a decision than that, and solely basing, like, I don't know, putting such a big responsibility on yourself for that reason just is not the right argument for me. I not an argument I can agree with. If somebody's telling you they don't want to have a kid and you still go along with having that kid, I think you should bear that child by your own at that point. Because that's going to be a very resentful parent, and in some cases that's worse than not even being around. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a parent that's not there than a parent that fucking hates me. In the house every day, hates me. Yeah, I don't think anybody should want that. You would rather have a parent that isn't there than somebody that hates your guts, and that hates your mother too for having to raise you. So I get it. Yeah, okay, yeah, see? The people who are in his business like that, the trolls who take it upon themselves to like really go into his personal life, and the videos is one thing, but the whole extra digging and whatnot, it does have like, it is on some stalker shit and on some weirdo shit. There's a certain amount of like trolling that turns into obsession after a certain point, because it doesn't make sense. Why are you so dedicated to this internet personality? The only people who get that attached are people who are like deeply in love with celebrities and stuff like that. Like, it's there's no way. You are for sure obsessed with this guy. And it's crazy because a lot of these people, from what I understand, are just people that are banned from his chat. So they go hide in the Twitch chat. They go hide in like these troll channels, which is exactly what I was talking about earlier. You get pushed away and you still want to watch this guy, so you go join other fucking people who got banned too. You go join the other losers. You go join the other group of losers who can't watch his chat, who go make videos about him, who spend their time watching and cutting up streams. Like, what? And you're gonna tell me you hate this guy, you despise this guy, but you dedicate hours and hours out of your week to watch and consume his content? It doesn't make sense. Like, you can't say you consume so much of somebody and say you're not a fan. You know what I mean? Anybody, you like, I don't know, man. What are you talking about? You are for sure a fan. But what if they don't? What if they don't wear protection? What if they don't? Just because I don't wear protection means I have to raise an entire child now? If I'm irresponsible enough to not wear protection, what makes you think I'm responsible enough to wear it to raise a child if I don't want one? So because I'm irresponsible and don't wear protection, I have to now raise a human being who is going to be put out into society. That is how you end up with shitty people in society. Because not only are these people irresponsible and having unprotected whatever and having kids they don't want, but they're not raising these kids that they don't want. You have to raise these kids. It's not just one thing to put them out there. You have to raise them, and it's not easy to raise a kid, and it takes a lot of work to raise a kid, and it takes a lot of investment and a lot of time and a lot of money. And I don't think anybody should be tied down to all of that just because they had some sex. I'm sorry. And it's not a crazy opinion that I'm having. Honestly, it's very mature and very adult of me, because I understand what it takes to raise a child, how much it takes to raise a kid. I get all of that stuff. So because you sleep with some random girl one day, one night, you are now a responsible enough person to have a child and raise a child? That's the requirements to raise a kid, not having protected sex? That's the bar? That's why so many people are shitty people, because the bar for being a good parent is so low. I mean, yeah, the bar to be a parent is so low. No standardized nothing. Anybody could do it. 14, 15, 16, don't matter. You want a kid, you could have it. But you want to drive? You want to have some alcohol? No. We need an age limit. You want to drive? Standardized tests. But you want to put a human into this world who's going to contribute to society? You could raise a child soldier for all we know. But you could do it. Nobody would stop you. Nobody would say anything, because you're allowed to. You're allowed to put a kid in this world no matter what. It's foolish, is what I'm trying to say. It's a silly way to do the argument. Oh shit! I need a charger. Oh no! What happened to my bag? But yeah, sorry, you derailed me with that. For the whole troll thing, I I don't know, man. There is for sure a level of obsession in all of that. Oh my god. Absolutely. You can't tell me that you're not obsessed. You love that man. And they use the excuse of they're trying to expose him for being such a bad person, but that also doesn't work as an excuse because there's so many worse people that you could go attach yourself to if that's your cause. You know what I mean? If your cause is he's a bad person, I want to expose it. Why is LTG your like? Why is that the person that you chose? There's so many worse people. There's like, I don't know. There's like child, you know, people that do nefarious activities with children. Like, but you want to bother yourself with LTG, somebody who is just like realistically just like a verbally abusive uh the whole hate grooming stuff. I don't know. I don't want to put no stuff like that on somebody. That's pretty harsh, especially since we don't know anything about the girl situation until after everything happened. I don't know. It's not comfortable speaking about somebody like that. But everything I said earlier, I definitely believe and stand on.